Parlow?
No.
I never met him.
No, he was a good guy. Parlow was good.
I don't know what other young guys.
He was before Parlow. I used to like him.
Parlow was gone right before I got there. So
Yeah, I liked him.
before Parlow, I
Yeah, he
didn't know
was.
him.
Yeah, he was before.
Yeah, that's why I don't know him.
The reason I like Parlow's son Jackson.
Mr. Secretary, are we ready?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the meeting will please come to order. This is the duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of the city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of this board is final. It does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you do have recourse in a court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, the board acts as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. The final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Darley? Here. Mr. Graham?
Here.
Ms. Powers? Here. Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Hennessy?
Here. Any changes in the agenda?
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, there are no changes in the order of the agenda as published.
Do we have, isn't there one that was withdrawn? 54, I think it was.
Old business?
Old business.
That's, okay.
It's still on the agenda.
Yes. This one?
That's
That was withdrawn? Okay. Number 9 under old business was withdrawn.
Number on that.
Number 9, petition 2017-36 was withdrawn.
Is there anyone here for that petition because it's not going to be heard today? Okay, let's proceed with petition 2017-51. Basinger's Pharmacy, anyone here? Want to step forward, please?
Petition number 2017-51. The applicant in this matter is Basinger's Pharmacy. They are also listed as the owner. Location 2219 West Jefferson Street. Their request is several variations on parking, landscaping, and signage. The applicant is requesting a series of variations, including required parking from 44 spaces to 36 spaces, required landscaping areas from 5 feet to 0 feet, and an off-premise sign for Star Inn Motel in order to allow construction of a new Basinger's Pharmacy building located at 2219 West Jefferson Street. Under site-specific information, the property is 170 feet wide by 270 feet deep. That would be a total of 45,900 square feet. It currently includes a 2-story building. The applicant proposes to demolish the existing building and erect a new building on this property. The first floor of the existing building has been a Mexican restaurant, currently Señor Tequila, for over 20 years. Prior to this, the D'Amico family ran a restaurant and a nightclub here, starting in the late 1950s. There is an access easement along the western property line to allow access from Jefferson Street to the motel, and that is the Star Inn Motel at 2219.5 Jefferson Street. And that sits behind this subject property to the north. The motel has no frontage along Jefferson Street. There is also a signage easement that allows the motel property to construct, maintain, and operate an advertisement sign on the property in question. The property is B3 zoning. Under surrounding zoning, land use and character, commercial in all directions, with B3 zoning in all directions. Applicable regulations are as noted. We have also included subsection 47-19.8 under the Community Design Review Board and other governmental agencies. The Community Design Review Board met on September 7th. There were no comments regarding this particular request at that meeting. General discussion. The applicant is requesting approval of a series of variations in order to allow construction of a 13,000 plus square foot retail building at the subject address, the majority of which will be the new Bassinger's Pharmacy. A small component of the new retail building, and that's about 665 square feet, is intended for a laundromat, which would have its own entrance. The conceptual floor plan, parking plan, landscape plan, and elevations for the proposed project were included in your packet. The applicant believes that the city's landscaping and parking requirements will not allow for a building with enough square footage to meet its retail and business needs. The applicant also does not believe that its business will need the amount of parking required by the city ordinance for a general retail store, because the pharmacy has a significant amount of non-retail space as shown in the floor plan. Therefore, the applicant seeks a reduction of the required parking from 44 to 36 spaces. Planning staff has reviewed the proposed parking plan and believes that the plan does provide adequate off-street parking for the intended use. The applicant also seeks relief from the city's landscape requirements. The ordinance requires a landscaped area not less than 10 feet wide along the public right-of-way and a landscaped area not less than 5 feet wide along the side and rear property lines. The applicant requests variations from these requirements with a reduction from 10 feet to 5 feet along the front right-of-way and from 5 feet to 0 feet along the rear and side property lines. There are several recent examples of infill redevelopment along Jefferson Street with reduced landscape areas along the front, side, and rear yards. The attached landscape plan shows proposed buffers and plant materials in conceptual form. A final landscape plan should be submitted along with other required permit submittals for additional staff review. The applicant also requests approval of a variance for an off-premise sign for the Star Inn Motel. Again, that property sits behind the subject property. The off-premise signs are permitted only through a variation. The Star Inn has no frontage along Jefferson Street and has a perpetual signage easement to allow for the construction, maintenance, and operation of an advertisement sign on the property in question. The property in question currently has 3 ground signs, and the applicant proposes to consolidate all of that signage on the property with one illuminated monument sign, upon which the off-premise sign would also be located. The conceptual sign plans for this petition were included in your packet. The proposed monument sign meets ordinance requirements with a proposed height of 20 feet, total sign area of 101 square feet, and a setback of 10 feet from the property line. The electronic message center shown on the plans for the proposed monument sign are not part of this petition. The applicant may apply for such signage once the city's moratorium on electronic message centers is lifted, depending on changes to the city's sign regulations. The applicant proposes to leave this panel blank for the time being. The applicant is also requesting a drive-through permit from the city's Department of Public Works for its pharmacy operations, and that is a separate petition. If the zoning board desires to approve the variations, the following conditions would be included: that a landscape plan be submitted as part of the building permit plan set that meets the city's ordinance, and that building elevation plans be submitted as part of the building permit plan set, also meeting the city's standards for non-residential design. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Does the application for the drive-in, does that come before this board, or is that a separate item altogether?
That's a separate item that goes straight to the city council.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, want to step to the dais, please? I must swear you in. Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yeah.
Your name and address.
My name is Amit, and I'm from General Contractors. Address is
Any
1
comments you'd
2.
like to make in behalf of the petition?
Sorry.
Any comments you'd like to make?
Just one comment. Actually, the Star and Motel signage in the building, property monument sign, he has its own monument sign there, so we need to remove that sign. And
Is the old sign gonna come down?
no, it will be the same.
Is that the way they're gonna do it, just add on to the existing sign, or is that gonna come down and put up a new one?
Is the existing sign coming in? It's a new sign. Yeah, there will be a new sign in place of whatever the existing sign is
The
there.
sign will come down?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions by the board?
I have one. What is the reason for reducing the landscaping on the front from 10 to 5 feet? That's my concern along Jefferson Street. Why is that being asked for?
I believe that the existing frontage, like the buffer zone, would be the 5 feet. And,
Well, it's supposed to be 10 feet of landscaping there, and you're asking for a reduction to 5 feet, and that's what I'm wondering. I mean, I thought the intent of all of this was to improve Jefferson Street, to beautify it, and I mean, that's my thought, anyway. You don't know.
Actually, I am not an architect, so I don't have any answer for it.
Perhaps staff can fill in the blanks here. The public sidewalk would actually encroach into the property, therefore requiring them to reduce the front landscape easement. So it's accommodating the public sidewalk.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any further comments, questions by the board? Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of this petition? You want to step forward, please? I swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Your name and address.
I'm Connie Sondag, and I'm actually from Basinger's Pharmacy. So we've been at Basinger's, it's been here for 80-some years. And by getting the new building, it's going to give us a chance to actually bring more into Joliet and help us to expand the whole growth of the store and be able to display everything that we do and to be able to just service the community better in many more ways than what we do now. Now we're over in the corner where half the people never know where we even are. When people call, it's hard for them to find us. And by having this beautiful building that we're wanting to do, it gives us more office space because we've grown to the point to where we now do the DME for all the people with the beds, hospital beds, wheelchairs and such. So we now have more offices that we have to do because of all the billing, and we don't have the space for all of the offices. We have like 4 people in one little small room and 4 more people in another small room. So now we're going to have plenty of room for people to do the billing. We have all the utilities that we do there. So now they're going to be more spread out. We just don't have the space to accommodate that in the little small space that we are now. And by moving to this, we're going to be able to expand that and to expand on more products and such that we need to do for the community, because some of the other places that we're in town that does the DME are no longer there. And we need this type of place to be able to service the community better.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Would you poll the board, please?
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darley? Aye. Mr. Hennessy?
Well, I'm concerned, I might vote for it if they move the tequila slushy machine over to the new location.
Oh, good.
But I vote aye, okay. Let's hear petition 2017-52. Mr. Perez?
Petition number 2017-52. The applicant in this matter is Sotero Perez. He is also the owner. Location 109 Miller Avenue. His request is variations to enclose a front porch and construct a 2nd-story addition. Excuse me. The applicant is requesting a series of variations to allow the enclosure of an existing 6 by 10 front porch and the construction of a 23 by 26 second-story addition. The variations include front yard setback from 30 feet to 19.8 feet, side yard setback from 8 feet to 2.5 feet, sum of side yards from 20 feet to 6.7 feet. Under site-specific information, the 3,960 square foot lot contains a single-family home, which was built back in 1895. The property is zoned R2, and that's single-family residential. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character, it is single-family residential in all directions with R2 single-family zoning in all directions. Applicable regulations are as noted. We have also included subsection 47-19.8 for findings of fact. Under comments from city departments, governmental agencies, or public utilities, there was a community design review board meeting in September 7th. There were no comments regarding this particular request at that meeting. Under general discussion, the requested variations will allow the petitioner to enclose an existing 6 by 10 front porch and construct a second-story addition on the entire floor of a 1.5-story, 987 square foot residence. The petitioner plans to increase the interior height of the existing second floor, which will increase the number of house stories from 1.5 to 2. The house is a non-conforming structure due to the front yard, side yard, and some of side yard setbacks. So the petitioner needs variances to enlarge the current structure. The second floor addition will contain 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. The petitioner plans to replace the shingles and the siding on the entire house. The front porch will be enclosed with materials to match the rest of the house. A site plan, elevations, and floor plans were included in your packet. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Is there some reason our screens aren't on here, or
They're
down,
looking
or-
into it, some kind of malfunction, I'm not sure.
Okay. I was looking at this and all I can see is myself.
Could be worse.
Which is a little frightening at times. You swear you win. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law? Name and address.
Sotero Perez, 1405 Winifred, Joliet, Illinois, 60436.
Okay, are there any comments you'd like to make, sir?
No, none in this moment. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions by the board?
Do you plan to live in this home? Is this going to be your home?
Yes.
Any other comments? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Very simple. Chair closes petition to the board and asks for discussion and a motion.
I'll move to approve.
We do have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Pull the board, please.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darling? Aye. Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Petition 2017-53, Nicholas Schwartz.
Petition 27-53, the applicant in this matter is Nicholas Schwartz. He is also the owner. Location is 1017 Richmond Street. And Mr. Schwartz's request is variations to reconstruct a single-family house. The applicant is requesting a series of lot and setback variations to allow the reconstruction of a single-family home. The variations include front yard setback from 30 feet to 25 feet, side yard setback from 8 feet to 6 feet, and that's along the east side of the property. Some of side yard setbacks from 20 feet to 14 feet, lot area per family from 7,500 square feet to 5,335 square feet, lot width from 60 feet to 54 feet. The 5,335 square foot lot and previously contained a 1,500 plus square foot single family home, which was built in 1948. The property is zoned R2 single family residential. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, we have single family residential in all directions, as well as R2 single family zoning in all directions. Applicable regulations are as noted. We have also included subsection 47-19.8 for findings of fact. Under comments from other city departments, governmental agencies, or public utilities, there are none. Under general discussion, the requested variations will allow the petitioner to reconstruct a single-family house similar to what was previously built on the lot. The previous house was destroyed in a fire in June 2017. The setbacks of the prior structure and the lot size are non-conforming with current zoning requirements. Therefore, the requested variations are required to rebuild a similar home. The site plan, floor plans, and elevations are still to be determined. I think we may have had a late delivery of those plans. They are consistent with the previous structure, and the proposed single-family house will be similar in character to other homes in the neighborhood. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
And you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Name and address.
Nicholas Schwartz, 1017 Richmond Street, Joliet, Illinois.
I understand that you are related to Mr. Mike Schwartz, our secretary. I want you to know that we won't hold that against you. You won't be prejudiced at all. Are there any comments you'd like to make?
No, I do not.
Just keep quiet. Any questions by the board?
I'm gonna ask the same question. Are you planning to live in this house? Is this?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
I hear you're lucky you survived the last fire or something.
Yes, me and the dog got out, so
Yeah, well, that,
And always rebuild.
congratulations on that.
thank you.
Any other questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor. Ask the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Call the roll.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Towers?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
See how unprejudiced this board can be? I'm telling you, you know, the odds are against you getting the votes. I vote aye. And then, let's see, 2754, Speedway LLC, you got it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You want to hear from Speedway?
Good afternoon.
Petition 27-54, the applicant in this matter is Speedway LLC. The owners of the property, Dennis and Laura Lynn Wilhelmi, through the Midwest Capital Investments LLC. Location 2121 South Chicago Street. Speedway's request in this matter is a series of variations. The petitioner is requesting a series of sign variations to allow 5 additional wall and canopy signs and a maximum size of a monument sign from 150 square feet to 165 square feet. A variation to allow 2 main structures on one lot for a future liquor store building, and to allow above ground compressed natural gas tanks in order to allow the construction of a new Speedway fueling center. Under site-specific information, the 9-acre subject site currently contains 3 residential structures and adjacent farmland in agricultural production. The majority of the site was annexed in 1998, but a small portion was recently annexed in September of this year. Existing zoning for the entire site is B3 general business. Surrounding zoning land use and character to the north is a medical office with B3 zoning. To the south is residential and commercial, and that is unincorporated Will County. To the east is industrial, I-1, light industry. To the west is undeveloped B3 general business. Applicable regulations are as noted. You will note that we have also included 47-19.8 for findings of fact. There were no comments regarding this particular, we did have the Community Design Review Board on September 7th, and minutes of that meeting are available. Under general discussion, the petitioner is requesting approval of the variations in order to allow the construction of a new Speedway fueling center. The proposal includes a 1-story, 6,000 square foot building that will include a convenience store and cafe. The building material will be brick, which complies with the city's non-residential design standards. An automobile fueling canopy is proposed in the front and a truck fueling canopy is proposed in the back. Truck parking is also being proposed in the back, but will only be for short-term parking and not overnight. The sign variances being requested are for the following. Maximum allowed area for a monument sign from 150 square feet to 165 square feet. 3 canopy signs that don't face a street front. A reader board on the west facing elevation that doesn't face a street, and for an additional cafe wall sign on the east facing elevation. The separate building that is being proposed will be utilized for a future liquor store called the Beer Cave. A compressed natural gas building with above ground tanks is also being proposed in the back that would service buses and trucks equipped with this type of fueling system. The site will be fully landscaped as per the city's landscape ordinance. An extension of Emerald Drive will be required and built by the developer. The facility's 3 main points of access will be off of the newly built street. In addition, a right-in, right-out curb cut on Route 53 is being proposed that would need to be approved by IDOT. If the zoning board desires to approve the variations, the following conditions would be included, and we have none listed. That concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Both of you going to speak, or?
Okay.
Yes.
I'll swear you both in.
Okay.
We swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes.
Names and addresses.
My name is John Philipchuk. Address is 111 East Jefferson Avenue, Naperville, Illinois. I'm the attorney representing Speedway.
Christian Kolashevsky from Corporate Design Development Group, 2675 Pradham Avenue, Hoffman Estates. We are the site architects for the project.
Hey, gentlemen, you've got the floor.
Okay. Maybe he took it. See it somebody.
Generally, we would just like to say thank you for this opportunity. If I could just ask for the slide to the site plan be reversed, thank you. So in our site here, going from west to east or left to right, we have the CNG carousel that we'll be talking about. We have our CFL canopy, which stands for commercial fueling lanes. Then we have our 4,600 square foot building plus the beer and wine building. And then we have the auto canopy. As we list all of those, we technically have 5 types of businesses on the property. And with the allowable 2 signs per wall signs, if you did it by 5, that would be 10 signs. So we're really asking for less than what it appears it might be. Basically, with the function of our motorists, this is a drive-by type use. Very rarely are you sitting watching the football game at home and you jump up and, oh, I gotta fill my car with gas. You're always doing that going to work or coming back home. So it's what we call a siphoning use. And so that's why it's so important from the signage standpoint of the signs being on the side of the canopy to attract the attention of the motorists coming down the roadway. And so that's why we're asking for that variance where those signs aren't directly on the roadway. Also, we have, quite frankly, a captive audience here. When the CFL's commercial fueling trucks are in the lanes, they'll be able to see the back of the building, which does have a nice glass entry and such. And then those products will be offered to them. This is somewhat like in a Walmart in the sense that our customers, once they're under the canopy, both auto in the front and truck in the back, are our customers. They're in our store. And so we try to get them in the store through the signage. So with those aspects, the signage is very important because it is a siphoning use. And that's why we're feeling, in terms of the competitive we have multiple businesses which need multiple signs, and that's where the thought is in terms of the reasonable return. The unique circumstances, again, also are the 4 businesses or 5 businesses on the property itself. And aesthetically, all the signs are very professionally done. If we could go to the next signage page with the details, you can see that they're all having the same material that matches the building. The font and the graphics are the same that are on the building. So it's an overall development, really matches with one another. So they're all professionally done and taken care of. Just in overall square footage for the ID sign, this is the ID sign that we're talking about for the additional 15 square feet. And what we're trying to do again is display the different businesses on there, just a matter of function. The American Planning Association gives recommendations for signage sizes based on the speed of a road and the complexity. You've got a 50-mile-per-hour road here. If it was only a 2-lane road, that would be a level of complexity. But we have a 4-lane with the trucks. And for this, they recommend that the ID sign is actually 312 square feet. We're not asking to go from 150 to 312. We're just asking 150 to 165. And we know that when we're asking a variance from you, that we need to also give back to the city. And basically, if you looked at our lot, frontage-wise, we would be allowed 900 square feet of signage. We're only asking for slightly under 600 square feet. So we're leaving 300 square feet of signage on the table. So we're not trying to over-maximize the signage and such. If you go to the elevation sheet, please, you can see that signs aren't really popping out at you. They're very tastefully done, very architecturally incorporated into the design. The other items, if I may ask, and I'll just go over this real quickly, is back to the site plan, please. The compressed natural gas, that's this building right here, that will be enclosed in a masonry structure that matches the building. So very aesthetically pleasing. You won't be seeing anything from the roadway. The actual nature of the business has the compressors above ground with the storage tanks. They're not like 20,000 gallon storage tanks that the fueling has. And those, the fueling tanks are underground right in this area here. This is just, they have small 400 to 900 gallon tanks that are above ground that work in sync with their compressors. So it's the nature of the technology that's causing for this variance to be above. So that's the unique circumstance. In terms of the profitability, CNG is growing by fleet sizes, and what we would be doing is, here's where it's stored, but then it would be dispensed right in the CFL canopy. So there will be a separate CNG dispenser on the fueling canopy. So it's mainly looked for the big fleets, the buses, waste haulers, and such. And so again, from an aesthetic standpoint, all masonry enclosure, that's the only thing that people will see, so very tastefully done as well. The last item is the beer and wine building just to the north of the C-store. And that again is going to be done in harmony with the main C-store, the masonry material. Speedway really puts an effort in their buildings are full masonry bearing, showing a total commitment to the community that they build in, that they're going to be around for a while. And they're very big into their charitable donations that benefit the local areas as well. And so that building will reflect the same image. And from the profitability standpoint, one of our main customers just down the road has the exact same thing in terms of a separate building for the beer and the wine. And quite frankly, that is one of the major profit centers of a C-store. There are 10 basic items at a C-store, has a category-wise, and that's a very important one. We know we can't have it in the C-store, so that's why we're asking for the variance for the second building. Again, just to help us to be competitive with our neighbor, who, by the way, did not have all the additional, and I say neighbor, our competitor, who did not have all the additional costs of putting in this Emerald Road. And when we do this, unfortunately, right-of-way was not asked for from our neighbor to the north. So we're actually buying that on behalf of the city to get that right-of-way to extend Emerald and make all that future expansion to the west possible. So that's from the profitability. The unique circumstances is the actual code saying that we cannot have this product in the C-store. Therefore, we need a separate building. And of course, aesthetically, it will be a positive addition to the whole development. That is kind of capping my items.
John Philip Chuck. And just to fill in a couple blanks, I know many applications you look and you say, well, it's just a gas station. Why do they need all this? We look at this as the Speedway Fueling Center, and the reason is because of what's going on out this part of the community with all of the various warehouses and the shipping and the intermodal and everything else that's down there. We expect quite a bit of truck traffic will be utilizing our facility. And because of that, you can see the size of this site. Typically, you might have a gas station there on like 2 acres. This is almost 8-acre site that this filling station, this fueling center is going to be put on. So it's not a typical situation. You can see by the size of the truck servicing area, which ties into the request for a couple of those additional signs. I understand behind your ordinance why you'd say, well, you know, put it on the street, and these signs don't face the street, but keep in mind, by bringing the trucks in, and while they're fueling, we want to make sure that those gentlemen and ladies have an opportunity to see what the specials might be in the store and can take advantage of the cafe if they choose. You can see we also have some short-term parking spaces at the very west end of the site so that if they need to spend a couple hours there to rest and have a meal, they can do that. Chris mentioned the traffic and the speeds out on Route 53. In case you didn't know that, it's a 170-foot right-of-way out there. And of course, these large rigs, they need to be able to pick up that signage at a distance, know what that diesel fuel price is, et cetera. Time to move over into the turn lane, which are going to be constructed out here. In addition to that, Chris touched on the fact that there are some road improvements. As you know, if you've been out there, there is no Emerald Drive to the west of Route 53. So we've been working closely with city staff to come up with a plan to be able to construct that, because it's going to open up additional lands to the west for future development, and that would include Marcella Avenue going in, that would include some of the school site over on Lara Way. And so the city sees this as a bigger venture out here, and so they're entering into a sales tax rebate agreement is what's proposed with Speedway to help fund these improvements to get this whole project going. So quite honestly, we need a competitive advantage, if you will, to be able to make this site function, to be able to create the revenues it's going to take, because they only give us 10 years to recover our money. I've been trying to get more, but I haven't been too successful yet. But we want to be able to return enough sales tax dollars to the city of Joliet so that we in turn can get rebated for the cost that we're going to put in developing this intersection and this new road out there. So those are some of the reasons behind what you may see as an unusual request, which, touching on that, I thought it was a bit unusual when I looked at your liquor ordinance and I saw the fact, well, you can't sell from an automotive service building. And then I found out that the liquor commissioner has come up with a unique way to be able to address that by having a separate building in which there is no automotive fuels being sold. And that thus is the reason for the request for that second building, which otherwise you might say, well, that's kind of odd, but that's the reason. If we could have combined it in one building, we would have, but under the circumstances, we couldn't, but we can still skin the cat. So you may have some questions about all this, but I'm happy to try to answer them.
Just one, did you want to read this additional information sheet into the minutes?
You know what, I don't have a copy of it. That's the addendum.
Yeah, about the 4 acres that were under question that the petitioner requested to be left out.
Okay, additional information. It should be made known that the annexation of the southerly 4 acres of the subject site were intended to be annexed at the September 19th City Council meeting, but was tabled at the petitioner's request due to outstanding issues remaining within the proposed annexation agreement. Therefore, if the proposed variances are to be approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals, it would be conditional on the southerly 4 acres being annexed.
You still have a problem with that, or are you going?
No, that's exactly what we would be needing because we still working out some of the final terms of the annexation agreement.
So when you meet with the council,
The October 2nd and 3rd is what we're anticipating.
there won't be any problems with that?
No, because you're allowed to hold a hearing on, which is unique to Joliet also, the fact that you have the final say on variances. I found that surprising because most all the municipalities I've
Look at
worked
the
in.
intelligent group you have sitting in front of you, they shouldn't be.
Obviously they put a lot of faith in you.
Any questions by the board? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Is there anyone opposed? Well, gentlemen, I hope you're getting paid by the hour. Those were nice long speeches. Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to approve the petition as stated.
Mr. Chairman, before you take your vote, we should note that the motion should include the condition of annexation.
That's what I asked, that's why I brought that up.
Yeah, no, one vote just with the condition.
On the 4 acres?
Correct.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Yes, with the inclusion of that condition of them obtaining the 4 acres.
Okay, you want that as a separate motion or in addition to the motion?
Just in addition to the motion.
Okay, you want to
Yeah,
amend your petition?
yes, I move to approve with the condition that they are able to annex those 4 acres.
Second? Is there a
Second, yes.
Okay, call the roll.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darley?
Hi.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye, congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, under old business, petition 2017-42. Eloisa Woloa?
Petition number 2017-42. The applicant in this matter is Eloisa Uoa. She is also the owner, location 607 Meeker. Her request is a variation on maximum lot coverage. The petitioner is requesting a variation on the maximum lot area per family from 36%, I'm sorry, that should be maximum lot coverage from 36% to 40% to allow for the expansion and coverage of a rear entrance. Under site-specific information, the 6,250 square foot lot is zoned R4 multifamily. The property is improved with a 2-story building and detached garage. Lot coverage for this property is currently 36% with the home, 2-story frame porch, and detached garage. This building contains 3 housing units. The owners reside on the first floor. In 2003, the zoning board granted a variation of use to allow the conversion of this building from 4 units into, I should say, conversion of this building from 4 units down to 3 units. This property is in compliance with the City of Joliet's rental inspection program. Under surrounding zoning land use and character, to the north is R4 residential, to the east is R4 residential, to the south is R2 single family residential and R4 multifamily. To the west is R4 multifamily. Applicable regulations are as noted. You will note we also included the subsection 47-19.8 for the findings of fact. Under comments from city departments and governmental agencies or public utilities, the Community Design Review Board met on August 3rd. That meeting was actually canceled and there was no discussion of this particular request. Under general discussion, the City of Joliet zoning ordinance provides that no more than 30% of the ground area of any residential lot may be covered by structures. Lot coverage for this lot is currently 36%, with the home, two-story frame porch, and detached garage. The petitioner proposes a 225 square foot roof expansion to cover the rear entrance to the home, resulting in a covered back patio. Construction of this roof expansion will increase the lot coverage from 36% to 40%. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Well, we have a lot of conflict with staff members, Dad. Could I have your name and address, please?
Sonia Jaime Ulloa, 1014 Hacker Avenue.
Any comments you'd like to make?
I do not have any comments.
That's why you're there, I suppose.
Yes.
Proceed.
I have no comments.
Oh, no comments?
No, I don't.
Well, that's a new one. Any questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers? Aye. Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Well, you'd think you'd had some experience in this. I don't know. You're pretty good.
Well, she's not charging by the hour, so.
Oh, okay.
I have to make it quick.
Vote aye.
Thank you.
Okay, what do we got here now? Petition 2017-49, Jesus Gomez.
Petition number 27-49. The applicant in this matter is Jesus Gomez. The owner is Maria Chavez. Location 112 Henderson Avenue. Request is a special use permit and variation from residential lot setback requirements. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow an auto body shop with future paint booth, which is a B3 general business use within an existing building located in the I-1 light industrial district zoning. The petitioner is also requesting a variation from the city zoning ordinance requirement that no part of a building where repairs are conducted shall have any openings other than permanently sealed windows or required fire exits within 100 feet of any residential zoning district. Under site-specific information, the 8,990 square foot lot is zoned I-1 light industry. The property is improved with a one-story, approximately 7,500 square foot brick industrial building that was built before 1930. This property has a long history of industrial use for manufacturing and supply. From the late 1960s through the 1990s, the building was used by Walters Title and Supply. In the recent past, the building was used in association with industrial operations at 110 Henderson Street. There have been no recent special use requests associated with this property. The building extends close to the lot lines, and as such, there is no off-street parking associated with this property. Surrounding zoning land use and character to the north and east, I-1 light industry, industrial land uses, also to the south. To the west, R2 single-family residential and R3 1 and 2 family residential with residential land use there. Applicable regulations are as noted. We have also included section 47-5.2 for findings of fact, as well as 47-19 for findings of fact. Comments from city departments, governmental agencies, or public utilities. The Community Design Review Board met on September 7th, and there were no comments regarding this particular request at that meeting. Under general discussion, the City of Joliet zoning ordinance states that the B3 general business uses are allowed in the I-1 light industrial district. The zoning ordinance further provides that auto body shops are special uses in the B3 general business district. Therefore, the petitioner is requesting approval of a special use permit to operate an auto body shop within an existing 7,500 square foot historic industrial building. In addition to auto body work, the petitioner has future plans for a paint booth to be installed within the existing building. The zoning ordinance states that this special use may be allowed provided no part of the building where repairs are conducted shall have any openings other than permanently sealed windows or required fire exits within 100 feet of any residential zoning district. The building sits less than 65 feet from residentially zoned properties to the west. Therefore, the petitioner seeks a variation in addition to a special use permit for this use. Interior plans for this proposed business were submitted with this petition and show one ingress-egress. The petitioner plans to use this main entrance into the building as its vehicular ingress-egress. The petitioner plans for the business to be open by appointment. The hours of operation would be Monday through Friday from 9 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There is no off-street parking associated with this property. The building extends close to the parcel boundaries. Reportedly, previous building occupants have parked inside the building. The petitioner plans for all employee and visitor parking to be housed within the building. There will be 2 employees plus the business owner. If the zoning board desires to approve the special use permit, the following conditions would be included. The west-facing service door shall remain closed at all times, except when employees or customers need to exit or enter the building. 2, that the special use granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained no later than 180 days of approval. And finally, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law? I have your names and addresses.
54 Meeker Avenue, Joliet, Illinois. Jesus Gomez, Jesus Elizalde Gomez.
Thank you.
Jose Alvarado, United Architects, 1002 Plainfield Road.
Any comments you'd like to make, gentlemen?
No, just wanted to just stress out, that, the type of service. Right now, it's currently just him and another part-time employee. He does mostly body work right now, no painting right now. But again, eventually, if the business grows, he does want to go ahead and put a paint booth in there. But yeah, everything's by appointment, so there's no people just driving up, hey, can I get my car painted or work done now? Everything's by appointment, so everything, he knows when they're coming and, that's the way he's been working, that's the way he likes to, keep
How long has he been in business?
¿Tienes negocio?
En este,
Sí.
poquito, unos 2 meses.
Y antes de eso, ¿en cuánto tiempo?
¿En esto?
Sí.
¿En el barber yo?
Yeah.
15 años.
Oh.
15 years.
He's got 15-year experience, but he's only been at this facility over 2 meses.
Ahorita ya que
Yeah, like 2 months. So.
But he has 15 years experience.
Yeah.
And how many employees are going to be there?
Right now, it's just him and another part-time employee.
Okay. Any other questions by the board?
I have some. How often do you do body work without having to paint a vehicle?
¿Cuántos carros a la semana? Unos 2, sin pintar, 2 o 3.
He works on like 2 cars a week.
And most of them need painting to a certain extent, don't they?
Yes, but he works con quién es con el que trabajas que le lleva los carros.
En otro chat donde era antes mi patrón, Alfredo Cabrera.
¿Dónde está?
En Rockdale.
Yeah, he's working with his old boss out of Rockdale, and that's where they take, after he does the body work, they take him over to Rockdale and get him painted.
Is there a reason why it keeps saying in the future, but there's no date at all as far as when the future is?
Money. Yeah, I guess whenever he's got sufficient money. O cuando quieres poner el paint booth.
El paint booth, si puede, unos 6 meses o más.
Yeah. At the earliest, he said he'd like to have it within 6 months if possible.
Can we put a time limit on that? Because we hate to see somebody working, even if he's part-time, in a building in an unsafe environment, because I know painting, most of that can create cancer and other lung disease.
We can make it a condition.
So,
yeah, we can put a condition on it if the petition is approved, that it has to be completed within so many days. That would be up to whoever makes it.
or no painting at all until the paint booth is installed.
Very good, yeah.
Any other questions by the board? Now, there's nobody in the audience, so I'll quit that part. The motion would be in order.
I'll move to approve with that 6-month time limit on it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition with the conditions as stated. Hold the board.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darly? Aye. Mr. Hennessy?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Who exactly is on this community design and review board? In the 40 years I've been on here, I've never heard any comments from them.
Yeah, it's a bit of
I was
a,
wondering who they are.
it's a bit of a
Is that you
misnomer.
and who else,
It's,
or-
it's staff. And it's open to the public, but there's no appointed, board or commission. Not quite sure where the name came
Official
from.
board, or is it same members all the time, or?
There are no members, it's just a staff meeting, and the purpose of the meeting is reviewing items that are coming before the plan commission for the most part, where we bring in the project engineers, developers to talk to them about their proposals. So it's the planners, it's our public works folks, as well as utilities.
Okay,
So we probably need to think about changing the name of it.
okay. I'd also like to announce that Mr. Graham has informed us that as of today, he's retired.
Oh, congratulations.
I also happen to note
Send your
that,
resume.
since our last meeting, he seems to have aged a little bit, and in my relentless pursuit and curiosity over the health and welfare of our board members, I was wondering if you could explain that to us. What's caused this aging process? It could be that today's your birthday, could it?
It could be.
Oh, wow, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now, does the,
We had no, man.
How'd you know that, Ed?
I have people that tell me these things. I want to know if the Community Design and Review Board can sing happy birthday. Where'd the staff go all of a sudden? Okay, a motion would be in order to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
No, and a motion would also be in order to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Congratulations on the two
Thank you,
things.
Mr. Chairman.
Congratulations, Charlie. Now you're gonna go home to your.
We're still